How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI. It ended up having a pullback on the day, being down just over 2.5%. But I want to make sure I keep you guys inside of the loop. You guys know how I feel about this play, so I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $10.84, being down 2.61%. On the low, it tested $10.75, and then on the high, testing $11.13. So when we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 3.046 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 2.566 million shares. So we had above average volume, but you can see we dealt with some selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 37.59. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 21-day EMA, as well as the 50-day, the 100-day, and the 200-day. So we could see that GGPI is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. But you guys know why I'm excited right now. I love when this stock falls below $11. And by what it's looking like, I want to see us fall down a bit more. And where I want to see the next port start coming in is around 1047. And if it could break through that, again, I think this does provide an opportunity knowing that it's a SPAC and the floor price is at $10. So as far as for the risk to reward, I really do like it on this play, especially with the volatile markets that we're in. So as far as for the high of the day, it was at $11.13. So if we want to see some bulls start stepping in, we need price action above this level, and then essentially we'd want to make a move going to the 50-day moving average, which is right around $11.42. This could also serve as an area of resistance. So that's one thing you want to know about, especially if you're thinking about getting into this play and you are bullish for the short term, of course. So now that you guys know what it looks like to the upside and as well as for the downside, if we decide to trade sideways, then I'd want to see if support could actually hold up right here around $10.68. Keep in mind, we did test $10.75. So there is a possibility where we could trade sideways within the tight range, especially if we're able to hold above $10.50. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for GGPI. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 26th, we have a closed position from Thompson, Siegel, and Walmsley, and that was 100% as far as for the percentage value. As we scroll up to take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 57.52%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is at 833,429 shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 400,000, updated 8 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 3.71%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 22nd, it is at 38.56, and then for the close of the 25th, which is a significant increase right here, is at 57.52. So what does this show us? GGPI doesn't have short squeeze potential since the short interest percentage of the float is at 7.42%. But keep in mind, the moment we have some buying volume coming into this stock, since it normally trades at low volume, we can see strong moves in price action, so be aware of that. So now let's go on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So we see on the inflow, it is at 4.80. 0 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 5.85 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 3.52, and then on the small, it was 1.28. Then on the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 4.64, and then on the small, it was 1.21. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, April the 26th, we had 0. But for the past 4 trading days, they've all been outflow days. No surprises due to the conditions we have in the markets. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, it was 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 3.51%. So this is not too bad for a stock like GGPI. Do know the market has been selling off quite a bit, but one thing that is clear, there are still many who are holding on to their positions. And we also have to be cognizant of the fact that this stock normally doesn't trade at high volume like other plays we talk about on this channel. So let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for GGPI, when it comes to the price action, if you're looking for a strong move to the upside, if you're looking for a reversal, it needs to get to $11.42. And upon reclaiming this level, you want to see that move getting to above 1150. 1150 is an area of resistance. So what does this mean? There's going to be a lot of sellers here. So the only way for GGPI to break through this level is with buying pressure, having above average volume. It doesn't trade at a lot of volume overall, so that's why you want to be cognizant of that. And what could bring in that volume? It could be a catalyst, or us seeing some more strength inside of the tech sector, or just seeing a resurgence when it comes to EV plays. We did have Lucid inside of the after hours come out with some big news, so I'd be very interested to see if this can move the EV market going into tomorrow, or maybe you might be catching this video the day of. If it decides to pull back, that's where it gets interesting. As close as it gets to $10, the risk to reward ratio gets even better because it is a SPAC, so the floor price is at 10. So here's an example. Let's say if GGPI breaks 10. So let's say if it comes down to $9.75, then easily all you have to do is get on the phone, call your broker and say, you know what, I want to make sure I get my shares back at $10, and you could do this. So that's why I say if you can get a position close to 10, that is the best. And that's why I've said in a lot of my videos, as long as you can get in under $11, this is not too bad whatsoever. And I know many of you were able to run with that advice and take advantage of the pops that it's had. But of course, what I talk about in my videos is not financial advice. Again, you just add it to your homework and as well as your due diligence, and then you come up with a strategy that is right for you. But as far as where the price range of where it's at, it definitely does look attractive, and there's easily upside in this play, especially when we get some more information in regards to the business combination and when it's actually going to go down as far as the date. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see some activity, but we don't see a lot due to the fact, because I know it is a SPAC. And then taking a look at the short interest information, it doesn't have short squeeze potential. But like I've said, since it does trade at normally low volume, the moment you have above average volume coming into this play, you could see a strong move very quickly. We've noticed this especially when it came to their Super Bowl ad, and as far as the catalyst when they said that, you know what, Hertz was going to be purchasing some cars and so forth. So again, that's why you want to keep a very close eye, because I feel the next catalyst is when we get that official date for the business combination. Who knows, they might surprise us with some news prior to then, but I just want to make sure that you have realistic expectations. Don't be getting into the stock and then expecting next week it's going to go to the moon. I want to make sure I'm being very clear about that. You have to be patient when it comes to this play, so that's why it's a very interesting for anyone who's a medium-term swing trader, or maybe you might be a long-term investor and you believe in a long-term prospect. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.